This is your friend, the Crypt Keeper. And I'm here to introduce Boys and Ghouls Film Reviews. Sitting next to me is Sarah. Say hello, Sarah.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Sarah. You're looking fine.
Not at all, Crypt Keeper. How are you going?
I'm well. And I must really introduce myself as a co-host. I am Michael.
I bet you guys thought it was going to be John Cassier.
Cassier.
Yeah.
That's my tribute to John Cassier, the original Crypt Keeper. I'm only a pale imitation. That is for you, John. You did a cameo for me recently, well, for us, and we really appreciate it. And
we love you.
John. Yeah, this is Boys and Girls Film Reviews. Sarah, our main host, and I'm the co-host, Michael. And what are we doing tonight?
Well, we're going to be reviewing. This will be another double feature for us.
They're two movies.
So
These are feature movies, not short ones.
Yes. So today we're doing the Babysitter that was released in year 2018.
17.
17.
17, yeah.
And the Babysitter sequel, the Babysitter 2, Killer Queen, that was released just this month. This September.
Surprisingly, they had been able to actually get it together during the coronavirus lockdowns and everything. They've done very well, haven't they?
Oh, yes, quite.
Now, the reason why we're doing it together is because it's the same producers, directors. I think the writer changed, and it's primarily the same cast as well. So we thought, and it's the main movie and the sequel. So let's just bundle in together, folks,
Quite.
and see how it comes out.
Yes. So, who directs it and
All stuff.
and all that stuff?
Well, kiddies, I don't know. I'll leave it alone now.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Okay, look.
I think they get the picture.
Okay. Now, the first movie, was written by Brian Duffield. Now, the second movie was written by McGee, whose real name is Joseph McGinty Nicole, but we won't tell anybody. And along with Mary, with Brad Morris and Jimmy Warden. Okay, now, produced by McGee, Mary Viola, and Zach Schiller.
Another interesting thing about MCG is that he was
McGee, not MCG, McGee.
McGee. He's also the director and producer of Charlie's Angels,
Okay.
the year 2001 year 2000 version, and the sequel Charlie's Angels Full Throttle that was done year 2000.
Okay, that's one of Lucy Liu and the other guys, was it?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Not the Elizabeth Banks one. No.
Okay, enough of that. We're not talking about that. No, yeah, but he's done some other movies. Okay,
Yes,
right.
meaning he's done some mainstream, so he's not an independent filmmaker or anything like that.
He's a real one. No,
He's a real one.
Anyway, like I said that. So they produced both movies. Now directed by, here we go, McGee. Joseph McGinty and Nicole once again has done both of them. Now, you want to get a cup of tea, guys? There's going to be a long list of cast and crew. No.
Well,
I was only joking.
We'll get through the main cast for both.
I am going to go through it quickly. Now, most of these ones I'm going to rattle off right now were in both movies. I think no. All the first one, this first group is all movies. Yeah, both movies. Samara Weaving plays B. She's the babysitter, and a very fine-looking babysitter she is as well.
Pretty good.
That's what I call eye candy, folks.
Very.
Now, Judah Lewis plays Cole Johnson. He's supposed to be a 14-year-old boy. Probably not 14, might have been 16 or 17, but who cares? Now, Hannah May Lee, Robbie Amell, Bella Thorne, and Andrew Batchelor play her Bee's cult friends, because Bee isn't all she's made out to be. She's not, Bee the babysitter. Now we have Emily Ellen Lind plays Melanie. in the first movie, she's a nice, sweet young thing who's Cole's friend and next door neighbour.
But we won't get
We're
to
not going to say about anything, but she has a bit of a role change in the second movie.
Yeah, as I often keep pointing out to you guys, as years go by, people do change
They
in
certainly
stories.
do when they grow up and stuff and everything else. And
A lot of people often say, whenever the character changes or something is amiss with that character, then they question it and they kind of ruin it for the rest of us.
Now, here we go. These still in both movies, these people. Now, Leslie Bibb and Ken Marino play Cole's mum and dad in both movies. And a guy called Chris Wilde plays Melanie's dad, who plays a really interesting, strange man.
He prefers his car to his daughter.
Yeah, he's more worried about his car and his daughter. However, it's a good car, but you've got this borderline stuff. Now, in the second movie, we've got some new people. We've got Jenna Ortega plays Phoebe, and that's Cole's new love interest. Now, Cole is a couple of years older. He's a teenager. He's in school, high school, whatever. So he's at that age, teen, majority.
Yes.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So,
Yeah.
So Melanie...
Let's not mention
No, I
it
was going
just
to say
yet.
Melanie, you would have thought from the first movie would have been his love interest, but no, he got a new one.
Yes.
Anyway, now, and the next three, Maximilian Acevdo, whatever, Julio Cesar Chavez, and Jennifer Foster, they play Melanie's group
Crew
of friends.
or whatever.
A little gang.
Yeah.
Now, because if I say too much now, it'll give away the plot of the second movie.
Yeah, in other words, all the main characters from the first one remain the same in the second one.
Yeah, it's a real sequel, like in Star Wars stuff. We got the same people. This is a couple of years later, same people.
Yeah,
couple of extra people.
most of the sequels I have seen over the years, they either give them more money to the actual actors who played in the first movie and get them back, and other times they would just get someone who looks like them to play them when they're a little older.
Well, you look. Hey, but before we digress, before we go on, I'll digress just a moment. In Planet of the Apes, the original Planet of the Apes movie, the very first movie had Charlton Heston played the lead role, not the monkeys, the lead human being guy. Now, the point is, he was the main role. He didn't appear in any of the other movies. He didn't want to go into, I don't know, somebody else took over the role, a guy who looked like him. And it loses it because I like to see the same people carry on the same role. If it's a different person in a different role but a similar situation, it's fine. But when you got the same person, it's like Harry Potter. You had the same people coming through all the time. It makes you sort of feel friendly, old friends. Oh, there's Dumbledore over there, and there's Ron Buglugs over there. And yeah, whatever. You get the same faces. Yeah, so it does get up my nose sometimes, but it's good to see these people who are committed to the two movies.
Yes.
Thank you, people. Everyone, all the actors.
Yeah, so I'll dive into this,
do the first movie, and then say, okay, that's the end of the first movie, and now into the second movie.
Yeah,
So
the story starts off with a young boy named Cole, and has this hot babysitter. She's really hot, just so you guys know, if you haven't seen it yet.
Out of 10, she's 11. 12.
Yes. Yes, and she's like his only friend next to Melanie, who lives next door or across the street from him. Anyway, his parents are going out of town, so him and his babysitter have the house all to themselves. So they do a bit of fun, watch a horrible horror movie
Stuff, yeah.
and
And
do a horrible dance routine.
Tell you what, if I was a young guy, 14, 15 years old, with a hot babysitter, I don't want to get rude, but I'll be thinking of other things there apart from dancing around and watching a horror movie.
Yes.
She is a gorgeous woman, that
Yeah.
Samara Weaving.
Yeah. Anyway.
Not being rude, but
Anyway, she then gives him a cocktail, which I think is spite. Who knows?
It was actually.
Yes, and he pours it onto a plant and he goes to bed. And later that night, he decides to go downstairs to see what she's up to, because he hears a lot of noises, like there's more than one person in the house, and he sees a bunch of people playing spin the bottle. but they're not
Well-
playing Spin the Bottle. They're actually playing
Truth or Dare?
Truth
was
or
it?
Dare.
Yeah, Truth or Dare, yeah. Something like
It's a sort of a bit of a mix-up of Truth and Dare and Spin the Bottle, whatever.
and I'll kill you later on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then this is where it gets icky. After a bit of a dare where B has to kiss all the members of the group, she then takes, for the final guy, who's a bit of a dork, or a geek, or whatever.
Yeah, he was a ring in for the night.
Yes, he is there, and B gives him a hot, smashing kiss, and she takes out two trusty big
Carving knives?
knives
Yeah.
and stab the poor guy
Yeah.
in the head.
Oh, hey, tell you what, though. Now, I must admit, just getting on to that moment, two carving knives stuck in the top of someone's head into the brain. That would take some force to get through the bone. I mean, I know there's a little bit of suspension of disbelief in some of these things, but really, honestly, a good effect, I must admit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Hey,
And
that's one thing for you. The special effects in these two movies, whoever took care of them, I didn't have a look at them. Great.
sweet.
Some of it's not gory, but it's really
Funny
good.
gory.
It's funny gory, yeah. Like
Yes.
you'd cut a head off while a person stand there, and you see the head roll off.
Yeah, in
And
this case,
things like that.
there was a scene where they're trying to get the blood out, and one side it begins to sort of squirt out like a fire
Like
hose.
a fire hose, yeah. Which wouldn't really happen once the person's
Yeah,
dead.
it reminds me a lot of something out of Evil Dead. Squirting heads is kind of
Yeah,
creepy.
yeah.
Old horror, which is kind of cool. I always appreciate old horror.
Anyway, this guy got two stab wounds, two knives, but yeah,
Embedded in his
into
head.
his head.
Yeah, so anyway, moving on.
Carry on.
They plan to take Cole's blood and mingle it with that very person's blood in order to complete a sort of ritual.
Yeah, some sort of magic spell there. I believe the idea, there's this old magical text they're using, where they can, if they mix the bloods together and drink them or do something around that, what happens, they can get their heart's desire, wealth or fame or whatever they want.
Yes.
That sort of thing. It's part of a ritual, yeah.
Yes, so anyway, Cole hears about this. They get the blood from him while he pretends to sleep. And just so you know, they don't exactly stab him. They kind of inject a syringe into his arm.
And draw some
And
off.
draws the blood out.
I didn't need a lot, just a little bit.
Yes, anyway.
And the idea was he was supposed to be asleep so he wouldn't know what was going on.
Yeah, they drink the cocktail B gives him earlier with sort of a sedative.
Yeah, sleepy time now. Don't wake up while we're going to take your blood off you.
Yeah.
See, wouldn't it be nice if vampires were like that? Don't
So-
wake up now, just going to cut the pints.
So anyway, once they found out he knows what they know, they probably plan to kill him, and all that stuff, if things didn't go so well.
Yes.
Eventually, before this happened, Cole called the police, and him being the, and when the police arrived, they get both killed, and then they had to have Cole phone in the police and say, tell them it's a code.
No, they didn't. No. The police came, and then one of the policemen's two-way radios were dropped on the ground. And then one of the B's friends picked it up, and Cole, who had aspirations of being a policeman when he grew up, knew the codes, and he told them what codes to use so they wouldn't send any other police around.
Uh-huh.
That's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway.
10-4.
Yes. So eventually, while this is happening, Cole, who was tied to a chair, he kind of gets out and he slowly tries to outwit and fight these guys. Well, not really fight these guys. He has to run, hide, and try to get away from them.
And actually, this is where it becomes a bit like Home Alone meets Scary Movie.
Exactly. So anyway, they all rush around trying to capture him. And I won't go into details because it's so good.
There's too much to go into. It's a bit here, a bit there, whatever. But it's an ongoing thing. Now, there's one guy there. Robbie Amell plays Max.
Yeah.
He's always taking his shirt off. Now, he doesn't look too bad for shirt off, so that's okay.
Yeah.
But he's trying to kill Cole. But he's acting like a big brother as well and encouraging him to, hey, that's really good. Yeah, I know you're fighting. It's really good. And then some kid comes around to pick on Cole. He says, you can't take that. You go there and you stand up for yourself and you tell the guy off. Blah, blah.
Yeah.
This guy's waiting to kill him, but he's telling him to go and stick up for himself, the other guy. And he going, hello. But obviously, it's a comedy part coming out.
Yes.
But this goes on for this movie and the second movie. It's a love-hate relationship going on.
Yes. So anyway, as I was saying, his reason for being involved in this is not because he wants heart desires, or so we think. He wants to kill people.
He wants to do thrill kills.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about him is in this scene he uses the Friday the 13th reference. You know, weird
I don't know
noise.
if he's doing that or the director's doing it.
Well, according to him, he's making the noises because he thinks.
Okay.
I think he wants to become the next Jason Voorhees. I think.
Why not? Everyone has to aspire to greatness.
Yes. So anyway, he gets killed. I won't tell you how. It's too good. And there's the other girl who gets. I will tell you that one of the girls in the group, she's weird. Named Sonia, and she's very weird and creepy looking.
Is she the Bicky lady?
Yeah, want Bicky?
Yeah, well, she's supposed to be a beautician who works in mortuary, wasn't she?
Yes, or something.
What a job. Stand still. Hello.
Yes, anyway, she
No
tries to go underneath the house and try to get Cole, and she gets a few mouse traps, in her hands. It's just like watching Home Alone in this scene because, of all these homemade devices that could kind of trap them and kill them.
And he sets off a
Firecracker.
rocket out of, he got out of the tool shed, he had it with him under the house, and he shoots it in her general direction, and it gets stuck in the ground, but still going off.
Yeah, and
Then he sprays some gas in there, and it goes woofo, and he kills her. What a lovely way to kill. Yeah.
Yes, anyway, so...
This won't hurt much.
Of course, B tries to look for him in her own way with a shotgun. Where did she get the
so
shotgun?
good.
I'll never know.
What every beautiful blonde needs, her own shotgun.
Of course, he hides out in Melanie's place. They get all chummy a little bit, not very sexy chummy.
No, they're only kids at 14 years old.
Or 13 or 12.
They're supposed to be 14, it says on the book, in the synopsis. Yeah.
So anyway, he does eventually fight them, and it's really funny how he kills B in this scene. He kind of rams the car into the house.
No, he goes across the road to Melanie's. Goes back to Melanie's house.
Yeah.
And grabs the car keys, was the car keys in the car? I can't remember.
Car.
They're in the car. And he got Melanie's dad's car, his baby, his girl. He's the real love of his life is his car. And Cole gets it, doesn't really know how to drive much, and he gets it, and he gets the car, flattens it, and he goes straight at his house and goes through the front of the house where B is, and hits her. Well, I guess when she's doing
car.
something. What she was doing?
She was putting out this witch book.
Oh, yes,
sort
right.
of,
he said
sort of the special book that the devil asks you to sign when you want to do something that you want to. Well, if you want to if you do these things for us, we'll be able to achieve the goals you want.
Yeah, but anyway, she's doing something with the book, and the car comes flying through
See
the wall.
Cole set the book on fire, and she tries to put it out with her feet or her hands.
Patting it out, whatever.
Yes, but suddenly Cole drives the car into the window.
And she's lying under the car, but is still alive.
Yes.
And Cole's talking to her.
He tells her how much
he loves her, because she's the only person in his life who really gave a damn. And looks on her face there, she's getting soft and gentle and stuff, and like she's, oh yeah,
yes,
I'm sorry. Like that sort of look. Doesn't actually say it. You know?
Soon enough, the police cars arrive, and of course, Melanie's dad's there saying nasty things about what happened to my car. Oh, my car.
But they can't find B's body anywhere.
Yeah. And his parents wonder if he's okay, and he just says, shrugs his shoulder and says, I don't need a babysitter anymore.
Now, I have got, that's about the end of the movie, I got a problem here because supposedly they think he's crazy because they think he made everything up. Because in the second movie, his carries on the same thing. Now the point is that they couldn't find B's body.
Uh-huh.
She'd been run over, but she might have got up, walked away, or run away, or whatever. But we definitely know that Max was hung. It was hanging around by the old tree house where it used to be. A lady under the house was incinerated. What happened to the other guy?
Let me think. His
the dark
head
guy.
was impaled on a statue.
Yeah, a trophy went through his neck and is laying on the floor. There's a dead guy, the sacrificial guy they had in the beginning of the movie. He was out in the garage.
Shed or
the
garage.
Shed, whatever. All the bodies seemed to disappear because everyone thought he imagined it all. How can you imagine this? All these dead bodies don't get up and walk away.
If this somehow was a fire, I can imagine them
you still have
disappearing.
bones. But yeah, so because in the second movie, it's 3 years later, everyone think he's a psychiatric case saying, oh, all these things happened and no one believes him.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
that's a loose part between the two movies I don't
Yeah,
like.
I guess not. Anyway,
carry on.
so it's 2 years later in the sequel, I should say.
2 or 3 years later,
Yeah,
he's in high school now.
And he's I think he's a junior in the first one. And in this one, he's now a senior or whatever.
We don't know what the
I don't know
American
the
school
American
system is.
terms are.
He's
these
about
days.
16 years old or 17 years old. He's in high school.
Yes.
Whether it's junior high or whatever it is. I don't know.
So anyway, he's dealing
Or
with
flying high.
and of course his looks don't change too much. He's
He's
like
just a bit
he's
older,
still
like
the,
you, me.
he's still the dork wearing the glasses, wearing a brown matching set of clothing.
He looks like an old man. A young guy wearing an old man's clothes. He got a corduroy jacket on and stuff, and a shirt and a tie, and all the kids running around in jeans and t-shirts
And
and
still
stuff.
calling him a dork or loser or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly right.
And still doing the old-fashioned tricks you see in those weird high school high school
All the usual
movies.
stuff, kids. Kids will be kids.
Yuck.
Little assholes. No, sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
Be rude.
Well, they can be.
Yeah.
Kids can be so mean to kids.
Yeah. Anyway, the kids I know this throughout both these movies, they look like they're dressed for the 80s when I look at it.
Well, I don't know if they're dressed for the 80s. Yours keep saying that. I don't think they're dressed for the 80s. But you keep saying they're dressed for the 80s.
They're dressed very colourful, look like the clothing is well polished, or even though clothing is not supposed to be polished.
Polished?
Like their clothing looks like brand spanking
Nice.
new.
They went to the shops and bought it. They went to Walmart or whatever and bought it. Yeah. Who knows?
Yes.
But the point still remains is they're wearing ordinary teenager clothes. Okay.
If you can call it that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say it's set in the 80s because there's a thing 80s and 90s because there was some musical references through both movies using older style music
and references to old 80s and 70s movies.
Yeah.
Here and
So maybe it's supposed to be a retro movie. Don't know.
Well, it could be another
Could
one.
be. Don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, in this time, he's still friends with Melanie, and he's crushing on her because now she's grown into woman.
And she looks very nice too.
Yeah, curly.
Almost as good as B. Almost, not quite, but almost as good
Shocking,
as B.
that.
But Melanie has a boyfriend. Now this is the part that it gets a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, because in the last Babysitter movie, it's clear that they have sparks between her and Cole. So that's how I see it.
Well, sparks, yeah. Well, you get two pieces of wood rub together, you're going to get a bit of heat, and then it would. Yeah, so.
Yes. So in this one, the heat's distinguished, if that's the word.
Extinguished.
Yes. Although there's still attraction, but not.
But not quite the same.
Yeah.
He wants a bit more, and he's too geeky and stuff. But she's got a boyfriend, but she still supposedly likes Cole.
Yeah, and she's the only friend he has since B's gone.
Yeah, shame.
And the other people in her group are a bunch of weirdos. I didn't like his boyfriend. He's a total jerk.
Maximilian. Whatever, Maximilian plays a guy called Jimmy, and that's her sort of love interest boyfriend sort of guy. He's a tall guy, reasonably handsome, I suppose, but
Like Gaston, weird.
Gaston, whatever.
Yeah,
I love Mary Poppins.
if you watched the Disney animated version, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, so anyway, they are try to be supportive, even though it's pretty obviously they want to be somewhere else from the look of them when you look at it.
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah, and of course he's still haunted by the after effects of being nearly killed 2 years ago, and his parents they're worried about him.
And they want to have him transferred to a psychiatric school where they get a bit of extra treatment to get over his delusions.
Yeah, ha ha.
Oh, delusions, yeah, right.
Yes. Yeah. So, but Melanie has other plans. She wants to take him up to the lake to get him out of, or just get him out of his life.
Well, she's coming over all nice and warm and fluffy and says, well, we're going up to the lake or something. Why don't you come up with us of our little group and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Before that even gets stuck into, we soon meet a new character, Phoebe, we mentioned.
And she's cute and weird.
She's cute, weird, and it's obviously Cole is really drawn to her.
Well, she's pretty and she's cute and she's weird and she's weird, but in a nice sort of weird way.
Yeah,
not weird.
The first time we see her, she's introducing herself, and she even lies that she was pregnant, and she screams out, and that really shakens everyone in their seats.
I really like scream now. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely screaming here through the corridors and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that got about it. Yeah, that's good. What do you call that? Broke the ice, didn't it?
It did break the ice, and probably broke
the windows and stuff, and scared the dogs down the street. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Cole gets informed by the teacher that he's told to come to the principal's office where his parents are waiting, and so this is the opportunity he's waiting for, either to take the blue pill or the red pill. Matrix references.
And Alice in Wonderland.
Yes, sort of.
Because the White Rabbit song comes into this movie, which says Jefferson Aeroplane song, a reference to Alice.
Yeah,
Fruit Looking Glass.
I should mention this has a lot of Alice in Wonderland references in this one.
There's a rabbit in it.
Yes.
It's a stuffed rabbit, but still a rabbit.
Yes.
Yeah, and White Rabbit was a song being played by Jefferson Aeroplane and other stuff.
Yes, so...
Yeah, really good, great song. Yeah.
Moving on.
I like White Rabbit.
Zip it. So anyway...
Great slick. Yeah, sorry.
So anyway, he chooses the red pill and goes off with Melanie, her boyfriend, and his pals to the lake. And it's like...
Yay.
Yeah.
It's a houseboat or something, isn't it?
Yeah, but when they kind of stop at a bit of a party resort thingy wing with a lot of other kids who are just partying down.
Being mental and stuff, as kids are.
Like a spring break thing, whatever.
Yay.
Anyway, Cole has a bad feeling about this, feeling like he doesn't feel like partying down.
It's like a third wheel.
Like you're going on a date. You don't feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, well, should I be here? Should I say we couldn't go home, could he? He came in her car.
Yeah, and Phoebe's there, and she's doing her own thing.
Yeah.
Arriving in a weird driver's truck.
Yeah, she got a lift.
Yes.
A hitched a ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's still new, so she doesn't have any friends.
That's true.
So they end up going onto the boat that Melanie hires, and they party down for a bit, and they have a sort of what's it called? 2 minutes in the closet type thing.
It must be some game I knew I'd never go. I would have liked that when I was younger, but no. 2 minutes in the closet, you go in there and you kiss or cuddle or whatever you're going to do,
yes.
or play a quick game of Scrabble. Yeah.
Yeah. So him and Cole and Melanie, they go into the closet and they do kiss whatever.
Very nice.
And when after say a few minutes, they come out of the closet and they start chatting about the cold stuff. And Melanie mentions something about a book. And Cole says...
Remember the book that B had?
But Cole never knew about that book until way to the end of the first movie. So he didn't tell Melanie about it until...
He never told anybody about the book.
Yeah.
But she knew about the book.
And she blurts out right in front of him that she's part of the cult.
Oops.
And she then takes I don't know, a hook and stabs it into one of her fellow friends, or ex-friends I should say, and the blood spills out.
Split, 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 split.
And of course her boyfriend's saying, "Oh my gosh, you just did that on my dad's boat. Oh, it's gross.
This week is funny and really weird. Yeah, it's great.
Yes. Anyway,
Things
Cole
like that. We
is
just feel like having a clean
freaking out, and then he sees our old friends, dear old, let me see, Allison, Sonia, Max, and that John character, who look like they're alive and well and have.
Oh, yeah, the people from the first movie,
Yeah.
who were dead, but they've come back to life. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, as it turns out, they're not ordinary people. It turns out they're demons.
Yeah, they were killed, but they came back as demons to do take care of some unfinished business.
Or maybe they were always demons. But
No,
hey,
I don't think so. I think they became demons. That was part of the deal.
that could be
Yeah,
it.
maybe.
So
Maybe.
anyway, they're coming back to finish what they started. Or
Yeah, I get the impression, didn't come out, but if they went through with the ritual, they might have got their life back as well.
Yeah, most likely.
And what they wanted, their fame or the money or whatever and stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that was a plot behind it.
Yeah. Anyway, Cole is freaking out. He doesn't know what to do, and now he's a teenager. He can't crawl across the room like his 12-year self again anymore.
I couldn't crawl anywhere.
Yes. So he's like he's he's outmatched. There's too many people that are not on his side. But then guess what? Phoebe appears and he thinks that she's one of them. But then he finds out that she's just there to get some petrol because her jet ski is running out of gas.
Yeah, he says it keeps running out of gas.
Yes.
There's a reason for that. We'll find it later
I won't
on.
tell you just yet.
No.
But soon enough, Cole jumps onto a jet ski and they try to get away.
Yeah.
Even though she doesn't know all the facts, she just thinks he's probably a weirdo, and those people are just doing a bit of a costume party thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, theme costume party.
She saw a dead body before it was pretend. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Yes, thinks this
You
is.
wouldn't expect that you walk in on a kid's dead body in the middle of the floor, would you?
Soon enough, they land on land, and Cole gives her the unhappy truth that.
And she doesn't believe him, obviously.
No, actually, she does believe him. She says, "Oh my gosh, I thought for a minute it was zombies. I hate zombies," but she seems to believe him, and unlike other people who just think that he's lying or not telling the truth, eventually, while they're discussing this, Cole suggested they stick together because they're in danger. But of course,
She says no.
Yes.
She's there for her own reasons as well. But there's an underlying story of her as well, and the stories come together later.
yes. Soon enough, it's a cat, dog, and rat mice chase with all the,
Squeak, squeak.
with everyone trying to get Cole and Phoebe, and it's pretty interesting how this goes. But soon enough, I won't go into what happens. But later,
just yet.
but on the halfway through, Melanie's friends want to quit this thing they're doing.
Two of them. Yeah.
Yes, and they want to head off and do their own thing. And as they're heading off, they explode.
Yeah, so they must have signed this book.
They probably
too.
signed the book,
They
and
weren't doing the Dark Lord's business,
Yeah,
so he
so-
took revenge on them.
Yeah, so if the Dark Lord is displeased, he'll take away your existence.
And he did.
Yes.
In a flash of glory.
Yeah, so it's up to Melanie and the demons to try track down Cole. So, but then again, Cole and Phoebe, they start warming up to each other, telling each other each side of their stories, and Melanie even Phoebe admits that she said that she killed her parents.
Well, she believes she killed her parents, but she actually feels she's responsible for their deaths more than anything, because she had nothing to do with it. There was a car crash, and she wasn't even driving. This is a passenger,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so
But she feels guilty because she was the only one who survived.
yeah, so anyway, Cole and Phoebe, they head to her cabin, and there's a bit of a funny cabin joke there where Cole says, cabin in the woods. That's not very much of a horror / scary movie.
No.
That's not so scary.
Not much, is it?
Well, some better quoting, but it's really funny. So anyway, they arrive there and they have a funny moment where they are in the basement of her hidey hole,
And they're talking,
and it's sort of
being warming to each
yeah,
other.
and Phoebe mentions that she sees her little hidey hole is like her Alice in Wonderland land.
Yeah.
It's well decorated. It's got a nice little tea party table there, a few toys,
Some nice little lights.
nice lights, and while they're talking, they then play some music, and they start getting on.
And he did get on.
Yeah.
Now, this is really funny. You remember back in the olden days of movies, like someone would go into a sex scene, then the camera would cut away, and you see a plane going through the sky, maybe some doves and whatever. Well, he had something like a train going into a tunnel, a hot dog being put into a bun. We had an idea what was being suggested. So, yes, very subliminal stuff, but it worked.
Eventually, while this all is happening, Melanie contacts Cole's dad and tells him that they're up at the cabin where they're
And she sent
hanging
the
out.
coordinates on for his GPS somehow or other. I don't know how they do that.
Yes. Anyway, they soon arrive and they don't believe Cole still,
I
and
think he's crazy.
yeah, and think that Phoebe is putting him up to
We got the Cole's dad and her dad come up
yeah.
together.
I should say
Now
that.
they've been sucking away on some weed. They've been through a water pipe or a bong or something or other.
Bong,
So
I think.
they're off their faces a bit anyway to start with.
Yeah. Anyway, while Cole's dad follows him outside, Melanie's dad tries to tell her that you're grounded for taking my wheels, all that stuff, and then Melanie picks up
Machete or something. Yeah.
and cuts off both his arms.
Well, he cuts off one arm. You're going to be grounded. And then he cuts off the other arm.
This reminds me of something out of Monty Python's Holy Grail, a little bit,
okay.
where with the Black Knight, where he says, "I had worse." No, you liar.
yeah. So his dad
It's
stands
only a
there with no
flesh
arms.
wound.
Yeah.
Oh man, you can't keep a very
What
funny
happened?
guy.
Did he die or did he kill him or do something or stab him?
No, I think she stabbed him again.
You see, he might have stabbed me or something because we don't see him again in the movie.
Yeah, what can you do? So anyway,
Dear old dad.
dear old dad, I mean Cole's dad, I should say, tranquilizes his son.
Oh, yeah, he had a hypodermic ready. What a very, very, very resourceful daddy he is.
Yeah, and he puts him in Melanie's dad's car in hopes of taking him back.
No, wasn't it? It was in his car.
I thought it was
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
His car,
Yeah.
and hopes to drive him back to home and stuff. But while this is happening, Melanie and Phoebe are in a bit of a Mortal Kombat fight
Yeah, it's
scene.
really good. Pretty much like Mortal Kombat. If anyone's seen the movie there, yeah,
Fight.
yeah, that's one hell of a good fight scene. That one.
Yeah, it was hilarious and it was amusing.
I liked it. Yes, it was fun. Bit of slow motion, bit of karate stuff, high jump sort of stuff, which is no one can do. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Matrix stuff here and there.
Matrix, a bit of Matrix probably thrown into it.
Yeah,
I liked it. Good feel.
Yeah. Eventually, Melanie got the upper hand by bringing out a small knife and saying, "You're my prisoner." Ah.
Yeah, and she doesn't kill her,
No, she doesn't kill her because she still needs Cole's blood.
she needs her as bait, so Cole can come back and rescue her like
Yeah,
the good little boy
eventually
he is.
Cole revives from the
needle.
and he
Steals
his
dad's car.
dad's car.
Leaves him at the garage.
Yes. Anyway, he
Good
heads off down to where
Hey.
Melanie mentions that where it has.
Hey, that's a query. How did Dad get back to where they were within such a short period of time by walking?
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, there wasn't too many cars near the gas station, so that's hard to say.
Or a train? Or a bus? Or,
So it doesn't really. Again, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter
I'm just
in
saying,
movies. I mean, should we question the existence or the time,
the meaning of
the
life.
meaning of
and-
life,
yeah, right.
stuff like that? So
Yeah, okay, why not? No.
So anyway, Melanie phones in the directions where he has to be, and of course she set up a nice little ritual thing she's put together with some weird Blair Witch Project
Well, yeah, those sort of
idols.
cross type things, like
Yeah.
X type. Yeah, you see them in some movies and stuff.
Yeah, soon enough, Cole arrives, says offers his blood. He doesn't care what happens to him. He wants to make sure Phoebe is okay.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, don't the other people come out there?
No, actually, she says that they're waiting for, you know who, and guess who's the unknown guest? None other than B.
Oh yes, right, B, the beautiful B, comes
B
out of the
emerges
water.
out of
The
the water.
lady of the lake.
Yes, she emerges out of the water, and
been done.
it's
No.
revealed that she is also not only Cole's babysitter, but she was Phoebe's
yes.
babysitter.
Yeah, she recognised. Yeah.
Yes.
And so B is the queen bee, so to speak. She's in charge of the other little demons running around over the decreasing circles.
Yeah. Throughout this I should mention, throughout this sequel, we see snippets of their flashbacks of why these other people were involved in this.
Yeah,
thing.
there's what are the names? There was the one who played Max. He just wanted to be. He was into thrill killing, and he wanted to be able to kill people and stuff and get away with it and that sort of stuff. Yeah. Now I think we had Sonia. She was the gothic one with the biscuits.
Yeah.
She was a mortician.
And I wouldn't be
assistant,
yeah.
beautician, something or other. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised she may want to go on and do special makeup, fashion stuff.
Hey, movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm only guessing here.
Now, Alison, she was just like a cheerleader type girl who wanted to become a newsreader or something or other.
Yeah,
And
or anchor woman, whatever.
Or something. And she really sucked at it, and she wanted, obviously, if she got her dream job or whatever, she'll be able to get what she wanted. And John...
wanted to be a DJ.
No, a singer.
Or
A rapper. He wanted to be a rapper, and he couldn't sing for crap.
Yes.
He couldn't. No. Really bad. The guy on the console walked out. It's that bad.
So anyway, B appears, and she's about to... And, well, you're probably wondering what Melanie's reason is. I think her reason is to be more popular.
Yeah, she wanted to be popular. See, I got so many friends on Facebook or whatever, and she's had like 1 million friends. She just wanted to be popular.
Yes, meaning to hell with Cole.
Yeah, or anybody. She wanted all the people to worship her and thinks it's wonderful. So yeah.
Yes. So anyway.
Get a life, girl.
Yeah. So anyway, eventually the other people arrive, and Cole's blood slowly gets injected and taken out of him, and Melanie starts pouring the sacrifice and his purity blood into a goblet or chalice.
Just a goblet.
Yes. So as she pours, the blood is mingling, bubbling, sizzling, whatever.
But it mixed with some stuff,
Yeah, and the other members of the demons are there waiting for the opportunity to drink it.
Oh, looks so good.
So as they drink, each one except for B, they feel like there's a bubbling feeling inside them.
This is going good. I feel a bit funny,
And
a bit warm.
then nothing
And then all of a sudden
happens.
And then
Until we, as B ponders this, and she says, the blood of the sacrifice and the blood of the innocent. And then she looks at them both and thinks, "You're not so innocent anymore, are you?" And she's and dear old B is smiling, and she turns back to the others who realize they're just wasted.
They got the wrong blood.
Yes,
Oops.
and they and even one of them who's Alison, the anchor girl, says, "Who would go have sex with this guy?" But
He got it.
he got it.
See, even dweeby guys get a piece of the action sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. So they were all condemned, including Melanie.
They all blew up,
Yes.
or melted, or
They
fizzled,
start oozing and dripping and bones leaking, burning, sizzling.
really good.
In a
I
weird
love the
way.
special effects of these sort of movies.
Yeah, it's all gross and really cool. And in this scene, you get to hear the music from Queen, Killer
Queen.
hence the name of the title.
Freddie Mercury would have been proud.
The Babysitters 2, Killer Queen. sort of a bit of a reason why they added that name into the story for the title.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Anyway,
Yeah, so
anyway, these guys go in a frazzle. end
yeah,
up
I
in
think
a,
the funny bit about this scene was Max. He's like, "Oh, I don't hold a grudge and all that stuff." He's like,
you're like still big bro. Yeah, it's okay. I'm not holding a grudge against you, Cole. Yeah.
But-
and he's burning up little pieces, falling apart.
yeah,
He's a strange
yeah,
Max.
and Melanie is the most upset because she then screams and her face burns off as the last one.
Yeah, what lovely
And
girl.
B
Yeah.
unties Phoebe and embraces her and Cole and says that she manipulated things behind the scenes.
Yeah, now then we find out a bit more about B and Phoebe, don't we?
See, as it turns out, B planted a locker. Planted a white rabbit inside of Phoebe's locker
And a key to
with
the-
a key to the
The
cabinet.
cabin, which she knew what the cabin key was for. That was the parents' cabin.
Yes, and she also when Phoebe was jet ski was didn't have any petrol in it, she kind of poured some of it out.
So she was forced to stop so she could pick coal up.
Yes.
Ah.
So she kind of this explains why she didn't come and assisted in the hunt after Cole in the halfway through the movie. She was actually
Behind the scenes manipulating stuff.
Yes, meaning
But-
she was trying to save them.
But then when we find out her connection to
Yeah.
Phoebe's parents were killed in a car accident. Now, Phoebe blamed herself for her parents' death.
Yes.
Now, there was two cars. B was driving a small car, an open car, like a Jeep or something.
A Jeep, I think.
And Phoebe was sitting next to her in the passenger seat, and the mum and dad were coming down this country
Yeah.
road the other way, next to a cliff, and they had a head-on collision, and both cars went over
Yeah,
a cliff.
and B survived, but she then gets visited by this weird nurse who explains that Phoebe is not going to survive.
And if you wanted to survive, there is a way to make her survive.
As it turns out, that very nurse is
Well,
probably a demon or a
something.
devil
Yeah.
who offers her, in exchange to get
Sign the book.
to sign the book, and Phoebe lives.
And Phoebe's probably didn't know that B was alive because she hadn't seen her since.
No, I mean it turns out she
Yeah.
said that in this scene that Phoebe was the only lone survivor.
Yeah.
Meaning she never even knew what happened to B or anything.
Yeah, exactly right. So yeah, supposedly, yeah. And anyway,
Yes.
so that's so he's a bit like a guardian. What? So he looked after her back
Yeah.
then to keep her alive.
Yeah.
And what happens now? Then we find out that
Yeah.
B was nasty and horrible.
But she changed her
But
colours.
she changed because in the first movie, when Cole had run her over in the lounge room,
Yeah, and
Whatever.
he admits how much he cares and loves her.
and he loved her, she started to soften and started to get her old feelings back again, the way she was before she became evil. And then she
Yeah,
thought to do good.
Yeah, so she was kind of trying to stop the killings.
Yeah, and she did. She got rid of those other ones who were just
They were
thrill kills and whatever.
they were
Thrill kills and whatever.
they were
it was.
out to get what they want, and
They
mostly
certainly
for
were,
selfish
Ollie.
reasons. While B's reasons for doing this was because of unselfish reasons.
Yeah, and she did. And that was a really, really, really sweet, nice thing. She says, trying to make amends, atonement, whatever, for her what she'd been done over the past couple of years after she signed the book and whatever.
Yeah.
And
Reminds me a little
yeah.
bit of Ghost Rider, where
Yeah.
Ghost Rider the
Nicolas
Johnny
Cage movie. Yeah.
he wanted to save his dad from cancer by signing the book or
He's-
signing the
Well,
signing,
he sold the devil, and his dad died in an accident anyway,
and
the
even
same day.
Yeah, and the gravedigger told him that you did what you did for love, not for selfish reasons.
Yeah.
So that kind of puts God in her corner in this
Yeah,
too.
well, hopefully. We like to think so.
I
And
like
anyway,
to think so.
to end things, though,
Cole's dad appears and he sees B there, and he remembering from last time.
she's supposed to be dead.
She's supposed to be dead, and he says, "I'm coming down in shortly."
Yeah, not a small cliff there. He's come down some pathway, and then
Yeah.
B decides to say goodbye in a very dramatic way, doesn't she?
Yeah, she takes the remaining blood in the goblet And while Cole and Phoebe beg her not to, they say, you can't do this. Well, you could just live, all that stuff. But she still has obligations to you know who.
So she didn't want to get rid of those obligations, so she decided to take matters into her own hands and to
Yes,
drink of the cup.
and slowly dies in the most dramatic way.
Yeah, and Dad sees it.
And he believes his son. Finally.
You're not crazy.
Yes.
I better tell your mum. Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, I think the mother would be won't believe either one of them because no doubt the dad was high on you know what.
Oh, Dad and the other guy must have been. They went through a few bongs like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
Like they could find the car keys out of the car.
Yeah, how's she gonna believe him when he actually did that? No one's gonna believe either one of them. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So anyway,
Irrespective.
Cole and Phoebe they go into a dramatic Hollywood kiss, and then we cross over to Cole back in the school psychiatrist's office, looking a bit more blossomed into manhood, if you can call it. He's dressing better, and he looks
of age sort of stuff. You know, like
a lot like in Chastity Bites with Leah now
Alice.
looking more.
yeah, Alison, whatever. Yeah,
Leah looking a bit more, more.
Yeah, Leah. Yeah, that's right.
Leah.
I can remember her acting name.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like at the end of the movie, she looked like she'd blossomed into womanhood.
In
and
Cole's
more
case,
confident and stuff.
yeah.
and,
In Cole's case, he's blossomed into manhood, making him confident and a little bit more good looking.
self-assured and that sort of stuff. Yeah, it was great.
And
he's a counsellor guy.
he notices right away that he just saved his
You're
life.
looking real good there, son. Blah blah. Yeah, and he said, and Cole saying, yeah, I was all in my imagination and stuff, and just to get the guy off his back and whatever, obviously. And it shows. And he gives him a big hug, saying, oh, I'm glad you're getting better and everything. And if only he knew.
And then we get a post-credit scene where we see the book, the devil book, is still
lying in the dirt where they were. No one bothered to pick it up and burn it.
I don't know.
They never do in these movies. Is there a sequel happening?
Well, I have heard on the grapevine that might be, but I haven't figured
Someone
it out.
finds a book, maybe.
Maybe. And not to mention, Cole may return. Cole may return in this one eventually.
Well, yes.
Well, the actor says he will.
Well, there you go, kids.
Yeah, anyway, this movie makes me think of a number of movies, and most of them were either 80s or 70s movies when I think about it. Okay, one of the modern movies I could think of that makes me think of this one.
Well, the Cabin in the Woods. I was joking. But he mentioned it earlier. He did. Yeah.
Well, that was a quote. So anyway, it reminds me a little bit of Scott Pilgrim versus The World, which was done in the year 2010.
I don't know that one.
It has a lot of interesting, text, and there's some interesting bits where you see some illustrations on the screen, like.
In this movie, in the second movie, they had some flash applying things like kill counts or whatever.
A lot like something out of a comic book strip.
Yeah. It's quite funny, and flash cards coming up, and really great, funny,
haha. And of course, Tucker and Dale
versus Evil,
and a lot of other movie. And a lot of 80s slasher stuff that don't make very much sense even now.
You don't need. All you need is some guy killing people. A lot of people going eek and running around, and their friends keep dropping off the planet.
Yeah.
And that makes a good slasher movie.
Just so you guys know, the first Babysitter movie, it was actually filmed in year 2015, but not released until year 2012. Year 2017, sorry. It was intended to play in theatres until Netflix acquired the rights for streaming. It was released in October on Friday the 13th.
Aha.
Yes.
See, it could have finished towards the end of 2017, and then 2018, could have been a lot of post-editing and stuff. And they'll find the right time to release. It would have been 2000 and Buglugs.
Yeah. Anyway.
Whatever. 15.
As I said
14,
before,
I
said before in this movie, they make a lot of movie references, especially the sci-fi
15,
type
16.
movies, like Terminator.
Yeah.
And all that, which is kind of cool. I wouldn't be surprised if the director is a bit of a 80s fan.
Hey, he got good taste. Hey. Or no, well, not the director, the person who wrote it. Now, and you look at, he didn't write the first one, but the second movie, he was part of the writing team.
Yeah, anyway, as we're saying, Beep puts me in mind of Angela Joel as Maleficent, where... Maleficent, sorry. Where in the film, Maleficent changes her mind on killing Sleeping Beauty, and she saves her instead.
Isn't that lovely?
She also puts me in mind of Mary Lou from Prom Nights 2 and 3, where she's a crazed killer and supernatural being that's hard to kill.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Prom Nights yet. I've got a lot of movies. I can't get through them all, so I might have a look at those one day.
Yeah, it's I mean, the 80s back then, they had some interesting stuff that makes, well, they try to make it weird as possible, which is kind of cool.
Weird, they made it good. I mean, they were in for anything. I mean, look at Carrie, that Stephen King one. That was a good movie.
Agreed. Yeah, it's just that a lot of 80s movies back then,
Yeah.
they kind of stretched the boundaries of fantasy here and there.
It's fantasy, horror, whatever it's threw it in there and
And left it up to the imaginations of the audience
and
what's
fill
going
in
to happen.
the blanks. Yeah. Well, sometimes the blanks didn't need to be put in for some of those movies. It's just all there for you. So
Yeah, but they do like the
very
twists.
good.
I do like their twist endings.
Hey, Alfred Hitchcock would be proud.
Agreed. Yes. So,
Well, are you finished chattering now?
yes. Shall we rate both of them now?
Wait a minute. Now, interesting. I went through some notes on the computer, as I always do, about the reception of these two movies. Now, interesting. The first movie got reasonably favourable mention in the reviews, mostly positive reviews, and I thought that was the weaker movie. I thought the second movie had more
Thrills,
action and
chills, and
substance
adventure.
and whatever in it, and that didn't get the reception that you would have thought it would have got. Now, I had a good look at the reception. The reception on the second movie was knocked by independent standalone film critics who probably don't like this style of movie. Now, when you get something like, I think it's Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes, I believe they both get people going on their sites and rating their movie, saying, I watch this movie and I give it a X, Y, Z. But if you get somebody who writes for a magazine or a newspaper and says, I didn't like this movie because I don't like teen comedy horrors, they're not going to give it a good rating, no matter how good it is. So don't be taken in by some of these crappy reviews. We think these are both good movies. I prefer the second one, but they do go hand in hand. So I suggest if you're going to watch it, watch the first movie as well, because then you'll understand why the second movie is how it's made, I suppose. It's got a good fun comedy horror teen thingy, but like I said, the second movie to me is more up my alley. But I really enjoyed the first movie as well.
True.
But not as much. So I like as a group effort. I'm getting very generous lately. Must be the old age of going senile or something or other. I'm going to give this. I gave 9.5 on the last one. I'm going to give 9.5 on this one as well, because I think McGee and the other people, they did a great job. The actors, the crew, the writers, everybody, everything has come together like an A-grade movie that you like to see at the theatre.
Yes.
And I think it's great.
Yeah. So my turn now. So I rate the first Babysitter movie. I think I rated 9.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
And I rate the second one, which I agree with Mike, because it's a lot more interesting and it has given me a lot of food for thought. So I'm going to give the sequel 10 out of 10.
Whoa, you are generous. It must have like Coca-Cola going to your head. Product placement. What?
You're being weird now.
Oh, I can't help it. It's once one of those days, you know.
Anyway, I do like this movie and I think it's worth watching, guys.
No, it's really good. Actually, there are some crappy movies out there. And there's some really, 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 really good movies out there,
Yeah.
and there's some mediocre movies. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not a crappy movie, it's not a mediocre movie, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I'm also
So both of them, go from,
Yeah.
and they're on Netflix. Do you think if they're on Netflix, they're normally available for sale?
yeah, I think
or
they're on
download or
I think
whatever,
that
or
you can
I don't
get.
know how it
I
works.
think you can get them on sale.
So go get 'em, have a go. These are really good.
Yeah, I'm just a little annoyed that neither one of the movies has gone on to become a mainstream movie. You know.
Well, yeah, that's a market at the moment. I don't know how the film
I
industry's
mean,
going.
I can let go if in year 2020 it's not a good time to
Yeah,
go
well,
to theaters.
Yeah, the coronavirus has changed a lot of things. Actually, we were talking about that before,
Yeah,
about the Academy Awards, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, how the Academy Awards only stingently enough is only awarding 2 Oscars for 2 Netflix movies, and I think that is horribly not not good.
There's a lot of good movies going on Netflix because it's easier, it's cheaper, it's a great way to hit the world without spending a lot of money. What's wrong with these guys who
I
run the
don't
Academy
know.
Awards?
I mean,
I
this
don't understand.
this guy who did both the Babysitters directs them. I mean, he-
McGee.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a mainstream director.
Yeah.
And he doesn't deserve this sort of thing.
No,
he
should be-
deserves to have his movie and his cast and crew
Judged
judged
along with his
accordingly.
peers who make these mainstream films. Exactly right.
Yes.
Not this, they're our poor cousins, we'll leave them in the closet somewhere. No. Let them out and say, hey, welcome to the club. You know, it's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt we're in lockdown, and we're not going to go to theatres very often at this
Not at the
moment.
moment, but
And it's
Netflix and Stan and all other things, they're a blessing at the moment for some people.
yeah. I mean, and we're going to have to change the way the Oscars are. I mean, they're going to. I mean, there wasn't very many movies out there. So what are you going to judge? Judge last year's films? You can't not. I mean,
Exactly right.
It wouldn't be right. I mean, what about the people who made movies now who now have to network put them on Netflix because they can't really release them to theaters anywhere? Does this mean they're going to be having to be forcing to not ever see a nomination for it for their hard work?
The guys who run the Oscars need to reassess,
Yes.
figure out what they're doing and how they're doing it, and step in the 21st century. I mean, I was talking to you earlier. Remember I was talking about candle makers?
Yes.
Back in the olden days, prior to electricity, young people today don't appreciate this, but really, really old people might. Back in the old days, before electricity came on the scene, there was a thriving business in candle making because everyone bought candles to illuminate the houses. You know. Now, as soon as electricity came out and they started electrifying houses and buildings, whatever, they didn't need candles. Now, you can still buy candles, but not as much as you used to be able to before. All the candle makers used to make, buy a big box of candles for your candelabra and stuff. They went out of business because nobody used candles anymore. And things changed. Now, the movie industry, the music industry, everything goes through changes. And you can't ignore the present and you can't ignore the future. And the guys who run the Oscars have to turn around and say, we might have to take these ones on board. The Amazon Direct movies, Netflix, all the other ones, they're good movies. Why don't you judge them, let them stand alongside the other guys and evaluate them? They're still good directors, they're still producers, they're still good actors. Why don't you give them a chance to actually stand up and be counted with the other guys?
Exactly.
Now,
and not go for the stupid movies like superhero movies just because you release them.
You don't like superhero movies.
It's just that's the only thing that's out at the
yeah,
moment,
because
and
that's
it's not
what they
fair.
think that makes money, and that's what it's about. These production companies, the big ones, they're into making money. The bean counter scene be running the operation. Let's make another one. Oh, let's dust Superman off and get him out and put him in his leotards again and flying through the sky. I mean, yeah, it's fine, but there are other types of movies to be made as well as.
Yes.
You can't say we'll do another Marvel superhero. We haven't done the Squid Man yet. Whatever, you know. I'm sorry.
Don't encourage them.
Well, there's no such thing as a Squid Man. Okay, I just threw that one in. But you can't just keep going there. I call them formula movies. Oh, we get a bit of this, bit of that, throw some sex to it, bit of that, blah, blah, blah. We're going to make some money out of it. How about a decent movie for a change? It might make some money out of.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, if they bothered to give the proper release to the Babysitter, it would probably would have gathered.
made some decent
It would have
money.
gathered a lot of money, and it would have given the director MCG
Just say McGee.
McGee his place in the industry again.
Well, not again. He's probably got a place in the industry, but he should be patted on the back saying he did a good job.
Yeah.
And it's not been considered because on Netflix. I'm really sorry. It's like Alfred Hitchcock when he went from movies to doing TV, and then he tried to get back into movies again. Oh, you sold out to television. It's not sold. He needed to make money. He needed to stay busy, so he chose to do a TV series of some short stories.
Yes.
And they said, oh, you're sold out to... What do you mean selling out to TV? What a load of rubbish.
It is a load of rubbish.
Yeah. The man was a talent. The next movie came after that period was Psycho. The best movie he ever made, and people are still watching it today. Was the movie... Was it Paramount? No, I can't remember. Whatever film studio was that, they had it wrong. So, yeah... Grow up, guys. Let the good guys make the movies and let the accountants reap the rewards. But let the guys actually have some creative license and actually use their creativity and their artistic abilities to make a good product.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm off my soapbox now, folks, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I get it. It's a bugbear for me. I just cannot stand by and say nothing about the industry going down the tubes because some of the hierarchy don't think it's appropriate. Oh, grow up.
Yeah, what are you, royalty? Royalty?
That you can make more money by letting these guys in.
Yes.
Think about it.
True. So anyway, I'm going to stop doing this recording now because I don't want to go on about this.
Why not? No, we could. No.
So
We'll
thanks.
bore everybody.
So thanks for listening to this latest podcast, guys. So I'll let Mike end this with his famous outro before we head off. So go ahead, Mike.
Hey, kiddies. This is Michael and
Sarah.
signing off now. Be talking to you later.
See you around, guys.
Bye.